أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My name is Muhammad Azrin Khan bin Khalid Khan and I will be presenting the introduction of accountability. So, what is accountability? Accountability is a term that is commonly used in various of societies, possibly most frequently in the Department of Government and Politics, also used in corporate governance. Accountability involves a relationship by which certain individuals are needed by others to clarify and assume obligations for their activities, giving and requesting explanations behind direct order. Accountability is also a tool for reducing agencies' costs. The lower the company's accountability, the greater the chance that managers serve themselves. Thank you very much, and I will pass the stage to my friend Muhammad Fakhr Redball. Thank you.
Thank you, Azuddin bin Khalid Khan. Now, I will proceed to the next point is relevant dalil. Islam has mentioned responsibility that refers to trust amanah, which is the indicator to measure person sincerity in performing his duty. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala say in Al-Quran, Surah Al-An'am verse 27 and Al-Baqarah verse 284 that accountability in Islam is primary to Allah and everyone should be responsible for their action on the Day of Judgment. Furthermore, the principle of accountability also been highlighted in Taqwa, which is a root from the Quran. Accountability to Allah display trustworthiness which encompass both matter and purposes. The matter is that which is first used to improve efficiency and effectiveness, but which eventually become the aim itself. This has been proved in Surah Al-Fatir, verse 18. Besides, the Prophet Muhammad SAW also highlight in the hadith the importance of obligation, while also explaining how they are connected to the work that is done.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In my part, I will be presenting the comparison between the principle of accountability in conventional view with Islamic view. Firstly, the sources. The principle of accountability in conventional view is come from human. Meanwhile, the Islamic views, it is coming from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala through the divine sources which is Al-Quran and As-Sunnah. Secondly, the period of time. The conventional view on accountability is limited in the world only. Meanwhile, the Islamic view, it covers both in the world and akhirat. And thirdly, the jurisdiction of power. The conventional views on accountability jurisdiction of power is that the state have the supreme power. Meanwhile, in the Islamic views, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has the supreme power. Firstly, the scope of accountability. The conventional views on accountability scope is accountability is exclusively to other human. Meanwhile, in Islamic views, accountability is ultimately rests to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Lastly, even though that there are differences of accountability in conventional views with the Islamic views, both of them are functionally to bring the responsibility in a person to the things that they are responsible to. In this context, is the responsibilities in corporate governance. Thank you.
Okay, next for the application principle of accountability. First, shareholders place their trust in the board of directors to conduct business ethically and responsibly. Board members must fulfill fiduciary responsibilities such as loyalty and honesty because they are held to a high standard of care by shareholders and other stakeholders who put their faith in the board's ability to act independently and decisively. Secondly, board accountability addresses concern about safe dealing. Accountability is supposed to protect against the possibility that agents may misuse their authority for their benefit rather than for the benefit of their principals. The shareholders are the actual owners of a corporation and the board of directors act as their representative in its operations. So, there is a need to put mechanism into the governance system that guarantee the interests of the agents are in line with those of the principals. Thirdly, the power of board to implement accountability that keeping authority. The board should be held accountable for how the shareholders have delegated authority to it. The company's board of directors also has tremendous authority and control over the company's activities. The board is responsible for managing the company's money and any earnings it generates, and board members may have no direct financial stake in its success.
Proceed to the chronology issue of AirAsia regarding the accountability principle. The issue are about the bribery allegation to the two top management of AirAsia. On 31st January 2020, Crown Court in Southwark ordered AirAsia to pay RM 5.3 billion for engaging in corruption globally. On 1st February 2020, AirAsia, through an official statement, has denied its involvement. And latest on 3 February 2020, Tony Fernandez and Datuk Kamarudin Meranun relinquished executive position within the company for 2 months. The act of stepping down from the executive position in the company is one of the principles of accountability, which is being responsible and protect the image of AirAsia company.
Thank you, Ahmad Astanai. Now I will proceed to the next one is effect in the case of analysis. There are 3 effects we have been noticed in this case. Firstly, stakeholder. For several times, AirAsia has been named in connection to the bribery allegation. In the beginning of 2020, AirAsia CEO Tony Fernandez and Chairman Kamarudin Meranun stepped down for about 2 months while the airline was caught in an anti-corruption investigation. This resignation for 2 months done by 2 top management of AirAsia is an act of good corporate governance, which is accountability. 2 top management step down has been resulted safeguarding AirAsia Sdn Bhd name from being criticized by public. Secondly, in order for AirAsia to survive in the pandemic era of COVID-19, total of 3 personnel is being laid off in order to decrease operating costs amid challenging economic times. Among the employees that being laid off is the AirAsia staff in Kota Kinabalu, based on Sabah Leading News Portal 2020. The action be taken when giving compensation to the laid-off employees. President Bu Lingam, AirAsia Group President, stated that all laid-off employees will continue to receive complete medical and travel advantage till they are recalled working. Thirdly, the biggest effect which be happening right now when AirAsia taken services are very poor. This can be proved based on customer feedback satisfaction when L. Karham from Philippines said she made a reservation and paid for a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Manila in May 2020. This is based on AirAsia customer review Skytrack 2020. However, owing to the COVID, AirAsia cancelled the flight and she has been waiting for compensation for 11 months. However, there has been no announcement on whether or not the money will be refunded. Now, I will pass my presentation to Aizudin Han bin Khalid Han.
Hi again, thank you Nabil Irfan. So right now I'll be explaining on solutions. Firstly, the solution is improve customer service. What are examples of improving customer service? The examples are inviting employees to important meetings and do training every 2 months to different state or country. This gives them the sense of belonging towards the company, and the results from that has given spirit to be friendly and nice to customers and colleagues. And secondly is changing the principles and discipline the employees to focus on religious principles and studies, such as in Islam, they told Muslims to enjoin good and forbid the wrongdoings. By doing so, this will allow the company to be fairer and more honest towards the financial state and the employees itself. We can also look at Royal Brunei Airlines, which most of us know how they strictly follow the teachings of Islam, and the outcomes of their management are aware of their wrongdoings, and the management becomes better. Thank you very much.
Okay, for the conclusion, lesson learned from the case analysis of AirAsia issues which are lack of accountability and improper implementation of the principle good governance practice, which are lead to neglect not only customer welfare but the employees also. AirAsia accountability in dealing and fix this issue are very important to gain trust from public society, which to give explanation to protect themselves and to overcome any solution that makes their management resolve the case that exists. The significance of accountability in corporate governance are so crucial and vital that can enhance the quality and maintain the good governance. Through the practice of accountability, it provides many benefits. as a Muslim, it is important to hold on the principle of accountability through the Islamic views. Islamic views on the accountability emphasize not only to the world but also to the akhirat. Eventually, the person in the corporate world will act not only for self-gratification and self-interest, but also for the consequence of actions taken in this world. That's all from us. Thank you.